So, I promised when we last left off that I would read a little bit from a paragraph and elaborate on it. The second the door blew open, I threw in a flashbang. You're looking directly at an explosion in order to do this. Or maybe you're not looking at it and you're throwing it over. But let's say that you're not. You look away, like you would have to do in order to avoid getting flashbanged yourself and possibly suffering permanent damage. Okay? You throw the grenade, and now you're super not accurate. Or you look at the door, and now you're super inaccurate because you're freaking blind for a little bit. That doesn't make sense. Okay, after going inside, we saw the main six: Princess Celestia, Princess Luna, Princess Cadence, 6 guards in shining armor. Why are they all in this one area? Why are they still in the throne room if there's an invasion going on? That doesn't make sense. You bet your ass if China's storming into D.C., the president isn't going to be sitting in the Oval Office desk. He's going to be on Air Force One, probably. Or, somewhere. Also, this is not what they would be doing. You see a flashbang like that, especially if you haven't, maybe they run in immediately, which makes sense, right? But they're going to be, confused, and probably they're going to be hiding. Maybe they don't have time to hide if you're in immediately, but I mean, you have to stand a decent distance away from that explosion. Also, what if they were near the doors? What if you just killed all of them? Yeah, great job, asshole. I looked to where the main six was lying, so they did fall over, I guess. I noticed one familiar Pegasus lying on the ground, because I don't remember who Rainbow Dash is. It was Fluttershy. She had an arrow embedded in her side and was bleeding profusely. That's not good. She's dead. She's gonna die. It's gonna be, and then, one of them is gonna get reincarnated as her, or some bullshit. Immediately, the guards went up to us with spears. Pulling out my kukuri and bowie, I chopped the spearheads off all their weapons. What? There's 6 of them. They were just... Then Shining Armor came up with a sword of magical aura and swung at me. Twilight's doing nothing during this whole time, not even trying. I blocked with my bowie knife, turned the sword sideways, and brought the Kakuri down on it, snapping the blade. I don't know anything about swords, but I'm pretty sure a Kakuri would lose. With a last-ditch attempt, Luna put up a shield around them. Twilight's still not doing anything. Seeing the shield, I pulled out my Desert Eagle and put 1 round in the shield experimentally. Why? Why? There's no reason to do that. Let's look. Okay, 1, it bounces off and you've just attacked them. So now they're going to be afraid of you for 6 times the amount of time that they would be, otherwise. And they're going to be really, really suspicious even if they decide to trust you because you freaking attacked them. Or it goes right through the shield because magic doesn't work on bullets and you just killed somebody. Now they're never going to trust you again because you just murdered someone. Also, you probably just doomed Equestria. So good job, hero. Good fucking job. When the bullet made contact with the shield, it cracked just a tad bit. Pulling out my M4A1, I took out my last 40mm grenade and reloading it. Shooting the M203, the shield completely shot and went down. Now you might have just killed all of them. Why aren't you just saying, hey, we're cool. Thou will not capture us alive, Luna said. Can it? We're on your guys' side and we are helping you. By fucking attacking their shield? Sister, just do as they say. We are in no position to demand anything, and they are not attacking. They literally 2 sentences ago just shot at them. Either they are of good nature and helping our nation, or greedy scavengers, or they're another defense force, or maybe they're just a 3rd agent that are breaking in, trying to seize power while all the chaos is going on. Maybe they're mercenaries that are trying to offer their services and really are just going to them because maybe Chrysalis was like, oh, no, we're not going to pay you what you said they would. So they're like, well, shit, maybe we can get some money from somewhere else. There's a lot of possible options here. Hell, maybe it's completely unrelated to the war going on at all. Maybe it's an assassination mission from some other type of thing. Maybe some other nation, not an active... I mean, I guess it's sort of an act of war, but maybe they're not planning a full-scale invasion. This is a covert ops team. I mean, Either way, they don't seem to be hostile towards us, even though they just shot at us. Princess Alessia said, trying to calm her sister down. Now that you guys are calm, I can treat the person with the arrow in her side, I said, while taking out some medical gear, 4 shotgun shells, pliers, and a lighter. I took out gauze, medical alcohol, a suturing needle, and suturing twine. Andy, come over here and help me. When I signal, pull out the arrow. You don't do this to puncture wounds, ever. You only do this if you're a trained medical professional, because puncture wounds... This is actually how the crocodile hunter died, is he got stabbed by a stingray and then pulled it out of his chest. If he would have kept it in, he would have been 100% okay, even though it damaged a lot of major tissue, because the thing puncturing you, actually keeps you alive. It's the same reason why if someone gets shot, you're not supposed to just pry out the bullet right away. Except even worse, especially with an arrow. I took out a small syringe of morphine and injected it into her side. I signaled Andy. Okay, you don't know anything about these creatures' physiology at all. You could just kill them. Kill them. Okay? They could OD right here. You could have just killed. They would have been fucking dead. Whatever. Let's continue. After Andy pulled out the arrow, I poured alcohol in the wound, making her wince slightly. The morphine must not have been enough. I'm not even going to touch that. I began suturing the wound. With the pliers, I took apart the shotgun shells, pouring the gunpowder on the wound. With the lighter, I lit the power, effectively cauterizing the wound. Finally, I wrapped the wound with gauze. There's an arrow in her side, kid. Okay? That means it's probably hit some organs. Maybe not vital ones, maybe it just hit like a gallbladder or something, but this is not something that you want to just cauterize and be like, oh, we're cool, okay? You're going to want to leave this open for, obviously, the advanced medical technology that we've seen before in the show. Whatever. Finally, I wrapped the wound with gauze and took out another thread and injected it into her side. Suddenly, I had an idea. It's going to kill me to read this next sentence. Fluttershy was Nick's favorite pony, and he would often go into fits of rage when he's short of the Hulk. Nick, come over here. The minute he laid eyes on Fluttershy, the member of the main 6 he most favorited, he had a look on his face, the look he would make before he would get angry and black out. Nick finished looking at Fluttershy, drops his guns, and pulled out his brass knuckles. He growled a bit before he started walking away. I stepped away from the door. I turned around Nick to see him in his rage and quickly jumped out of the way. Nick walked out of the room and started attacking some changelings, which are there. I guess. There's changelings there. We didn't know that before. I took one look at Nick attacking the changelings. I should get him to be in this rage mode more often. Nick was punching changelings. I noticed that when he punched a changeling, his fist would go right through the changeling. When he punched the changeling's head, whatever changeling's head seemed to explode. This is some top tier schlock. Like this is like second grader tier. Dear Lord. I do nothing to stop him besides anything short of a god, or you could just shoot him in the fucking head. Or they could, because they have do they have spears? If they have, ranged weapons, I get it. But just get 10 people and start stabbing at him. Nick seemed to easily slaughter the last of the changelings. Or as Nick seemed to easily slaughter the last of the changelings, we joined in. I started using my samurai sword in conjunction with various pistols I had, as I had ran out of ammunition for my 870. Samurai swords suck a dick. They're literally fucking awful as a weapon. There's a video on YouTube about it. You could look it up. Andy picked up a nearby spear that had its spearhead missing and was using it as a staff to beat changelings. Ike also joined in using his handguns. After killing the rest of the changelings, we were all knocked unconscious all the same time by a blue light. Presumably, this was done by Luna because this is the color for magical aura. Why didn't you do that in the first place? When I woke up, I found myself in a cell. I noticed that I had been stripped of my weapons and gear. I looked over to my friends and noticed that they were missing their weapons and gear too. I tried to move until I was restrained by my ankle to a wall. I pulled the paperclip from my pocket and unlocked the keys that were around my ankles. You can't just use a paperclip. You need to have some kind of torsion wrench. And even, I mean, a paperclip might get you with, like, you know, medieval era shackles because they weren't designed that well. But, like, you know, it's going to take you a couple seconds. It's a really freaking awkward angle to pick a lock. If, like, assuming, you know, it's at such a thing. I mean, I guess you could sit down and try to do it, but it would. They did the same thing to my friends. After unlocking us all, I kicked them all awake. Aw, what the hell, Ike said. Hi, Tran, what happened? I guess he wasn't mad. I feel like shit. The last thing I remember was seeing Fluttershy, Nick said. Well, you blacked out and began punching Changeling to death. By the way, we're all trapped in their dungeon. They took all our weapons and gear, I said. Before unlocking the dungeon door with the paperclip. Okay. Wait a minute. I felt some familiar weight. I still had some of my hidden weapons. I still have my PK, my Glock 18, my hidden blades, my lanyard, my 2 switchblades, and my boot knives. How the hell did they not take these? Ike said. Magic? I said. That is actually the laziest fucking thing I've seen in my whole life. That is beyond acceptable limits. That is just... Okay, I actually took a break there to get a drink, because I needed a moment. Oh my god, I'm like halfway through this chapter. You know what? I think I'm stopping here. That actually sapped all my will to finish this, because this author doesn't give a shit. He just... This is not like... Like, I think one of the least favorite things I've ever read is anything conversion bureau, I can't pronounce words, related, right? Like, I fucking hate that story because it just has this really childish, stupid view of the human race, and so many people seem to like it. And this is not that. This is some kid who's not 16 yet. I really hope that they're not 16 yet. Going, I like guns. I like zombies, I like ponies, I like death, I like Call of Duty, so I'll make myself and all my friends a Call of Duty hero, and we'll go, there'll be zombies in the zombie apocalypse, but then we'll go to Equestria, and then we'll murder things, and we'll be, like, really cool with, like, the guns, and, like, it'll be, like a fun thing, like, I'll give myself, like, a dark and edgy personality, and it'll be cool. That's what this is. And I could continue reading this if I get good response. Sure. I'll finish it, but right now this has actually sapped my will to live. Well, you know, I mean, then again, it's not that bad. Everyone writes embarrassing stuff when they're young. I know I did. If you look up, I read the first Maximum Ride book when I was in 7th grade, and I wrote a fanfic based on it. And I've deleted that from the internet. I spent a long time gaining access to that fanfiction.org account just to get rid of it, because it was that bad. I'm not going to say what it was about, because it was just freaking awful, okay? Okay? But that doesn't mean that I necessarily want to continue reading this, because, you know, just because it's not as bad as it could be and everyone makes mistakes doesn't really mean that this isn't causing me physical pain. Anyway, yeah, I'm signing off here. If people want me to continue reading it, sure. You know, I'll do stuff for fans, but whatever. Where's the stop button?